One of the phrases that I hear most often used by skeptics of man-made catastrophic warming goes something like, carbon dioxide is not a pollutant, it's plant food. And the reasons that this is used so often is manyfold, but primarily it's true. It's easily verifiable by many thousands of laboratory tests and peer-reviewed studies. And number three, it points out the many benefits of increasing CO2 on humanity and the earth. This leads us to our next two inconvenient facts. First and foremost, CO2 is plant food, and more CO2 means more plant growth. Both of these work hand in glove with the increasing CO2 fertilization effect we're seeing by the rise in CO2 levels. Since you probably first learned of the relationship between carbon dioxide and plant growth back when you were a little lad or lassie many years ago, a quick synopsis of the process I think is in order. And we see that plants use carbon dioxide, which is sucked out of the air through the stomata or pores in the plants, combined with the water, of course, received through the roots. This is used in the process of photosynthesis, and the resulting byproducts are glucose and oxygen. Of course, it's the glucose that really provides the basic building blocks for plants. Many thousands of studies going back actually to the year 1804 correlate increasing CO2 with increasing plant growth. The first was by Nicolas de Saussure in 1804. Since that time, many thousands of studies have been completed relating increasing CO2 to increasing plant growth. One of the best sources for this information can be found at co2science.org, accumulated by Dr. Craig Idso and his team there. Dr. Idso compiled a summary of 270 laboratory studies of 83 food crops and showed that increasing CO2 concentrations by 300 parts per million would increase plant growth by an average of 46% across all the crops studied. That's a good thing. That's a really good thing. Increasing CO2 is feeding a hungry earth. We'll be able to feed the poor and the hungry because of increasing CO2. Another great story that should be front page of the New York Times is an incredible greening of the earth. NASA reports that up to 50% of the earth is what they call greening. In other words, vegetation's increasing. And they attribute it, yes, you guessed it, increasing CO2 concentration causing CO2 fertilization effect. One of the great stories, again unreported, is the Sahel, the southern Sahara. 300,000 square kilometers of the former desert is turning into a lush grassland. Again, the experts attribute it to increasing CO2 fertilization, along with increased moisture due to warming. I don't pretend to speak for the planet's flora, but I'm quite certain that if plants had a say in the matter, they would not be lobbying for reductions in CO2. For plants, CO2 is food. They need more of it, not less.